card, and we're going to also put our cupcakes on a pedestal. Everybody likes to be on a pedestal at least one time or another, so we're going to go ahead and make our cupcakes feel extra special and extra loved on their pedestal. So we're going to use some products in the regular catalog and also in the Occasions Mini. So let me get started and give you the dimensions. On the bottom of the card, it is Tangerine Tango, and it measures 8.5 inches across by 5.5 inches top to bottom. I've scored it in 4¼ inches, so when you fold it, you have the base of your card. So we're going to set that aside until we're ready to use it. On the Tempting Turquoise, which is the second layer, that's going to measure 5¼ inches across and 4 inches from top to bottom. And then for our piece of Whisper White cardstock, that's going to measure 5 inches across and 3¾ inches from top to bottom. And this is the piece of cardstock I'm going to concentrate on right now while I build my pedestal. For the bottom of my pedestal, I'm going to use a scrap of Tangerine Tango, and I'm going to use my large oval punch. And see, you can already see because I've already done it, so you have a hint, you know what I've done. I'm just going to put in my Tangerine Tango punch about a little less than halfway, and of course it's going to pop out. So that's going to be the bottom of our pedestal. Then I'm going to take a scrap of cardstock. This is 3/4 inches tall by 4 3/4. And I'm just going to go ahead and start at one end, and using my scallop trim punch, I'm going to punch all the way across. And when I get ready to punch my second part of my scrap paper, I go ahead and I line these scallops here with the scallops on my punch, so you should not be able to see those when you get ready to make your next punch. And then when I get to the second part, the third part, again, you can't see the scallops because I have them covered. And now I've got my scallop trim, or the bottom, or my pedestal already cut. Don't throw this away because we're going to use that. And oh, what a treat. This is Marley. You haven't seen him before, but he definitely, he is a little camera shy because you didn't get to see his face, but he is a sweetie. Okay, now what I'm going to do is on my pedestal, I'm just going to put a piece of snail across the back, and I am going to mount my pedestal base, or my stand, to the bottom of my pedestal, and I'm going to cut that off at about 1¼ inch. And the easiest way to do that, let me just go ahead and put some more snail there, put it on the bottom of my card, okay, and then I'm just going to take my ruler at 1¼ inch and then just snip it off, okay. I am also, just to tack it, going to put just a little bit of snail right there, and that's going to tack it down. Don't worry, that's going to be hid by this part of your base, so you're good to go. Now I want 11 scallops on my pedestal. I think I have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 11. I have 11. So I'm just going to trim this edge up this way because I want my scallops to end the same on both sides. And then I want to go ahead and adhere this to my card, but I want it to stand up a little bit. So I'm going to use the edge of my dimensionals. You knew you were saving these for something, and this is it. So I'm just going to snip, snip, and pull that strip off. And then put it on the back of my pedestal. To peel that off, I'm going to use my paper piercer, and I'm going to center my center scallop on the top of my pedestal, and there I have my pedestal. Is that too darn cute? I love it, love it, love it. And while I have my pedestal here, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my happy birthday greeting. Let me turn it so you can see it. This is from the stamp set called Create a Cupcake. This is from the Occasions Mini, so you have until the end of April, which really is right around the corner, to purchase this stamp set. And this stamp set also coordinates with the punches. Today I'm just going to focus on the punches, but you definitely can use this with the punch that we're going to use to punch out the cupcakes. So I'm going to take my happy birthday, I'm going to ink it with Tempting Turquoise, and I'm just going to stamp it right down here in the lower right hand corner, and there's my happy birthday. Now for my cupcakes, what I'm going to do is just use some scrap paper. You can see I've already done this a couple of times, and I'm going to use my cupcake punch, and I'm just going to stick it into my cardstock, and I like to do it upside down so I can see that I'm punching out the correct images. When you punch these out, they fly everywhere, so I usually punch them upside down or really right side up, and then I pull out the pieces that I want. Now I've already gone ahead and punched all these out, so I have punched them at a Regal Rose, Tempting Turquoise, and Daffodil Delight. Okay, and now I want to add just a little bit of texture to my cupcakes. Again, if you stamp these images, then you can punch them out, but since I used color cardstock, I didn't have to use the stamp set. I'm going to pull out my Big Shot, and for the bottom of the cupcakes, I'm going to use the Square Lattice Impressions folder, and I'm just going to set these in here any old way at an angle. Sometimes, well, personally, I don't try to line things up, because then if I get it a little bit off, that just drives me crazy. So I just purposely do them a little disheveled, and it makes me happy, and it works out just great. I'm going to use my multi-purpose platform at tab 1, my cutting pad, and my square lattice die with my pieces of cardstock in, and then another cutting pad, and I'm going to run that through the Big Shot, okay, which is right here. I just go ahead and I put that in there, and I'm going to turn my handle so that goes through. It's really hard to get it into this small area. Okay, I'm going to just move this aside while I finish rolling it through. Don't you love all the sounds you hear, the helicopter and all the wonderful sounds of nature when you have the windows open? But it's too nice to keep my windows closed. So, okay, we have that one. Now for the tops of my cupcakes, I'm going to use the Perfect Polka Dots Impressions folder. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and sit those in here any old way. And I'm going to do the same sandwich, tab 1 on my multi-purpose platform, cutting pad, impressions folder, and my cutting pad, and I'm going to put those through my Big Shot. And now, when I pull that out, my cupcakes have these cute little dots on them. Oh, too darn cute. Okay. Now, I want to go ahead and attach the bottom of my cupcakes. My goodness, you get so many helicopters today. And I'm going to use my multi-purpose Tombow, because I find if I use my snail, and this image is embossed, so sometimes snail doesn't get into the nooks and crannies, and this definitely does. I'm going to start in the middle, and you can start with any color. So let's go ahead and start with our Tempting Turquoise. Then I'm going to go ahead and put down my Regal Rose. These are all colors in our Brights color family. And then lastly, I'm going to put down my Daffodil Delight. And I'm just kind of tucking them just a little bit under the pedestal, which you have on your Up by Dimensionals. For my frosting or my icing, I am going to use dimensionals to adhere those. And again, I'm just going to snip these ends of my dimensionals. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up, put it on the back for each one. And let's see. Okay. And I want to make sure that I don't put the same color frosting on the same color cupcake. So I'm putting the Daffodil Delight on my Regal Rose. And then I'm going to put the Regal Rose on my Tempting Turquoise. And lastly, my Tempting Turquoise on my Daffodil Delight. Okay. Now, the last things I have are my little cherries, and my cherries are multicolored. I'm going to adhere those with glue dots. So I'm going to stick that one there. And you want to make sure you get the glue dot toward the bottom of your cherry. Okay. And then of course, the Daffodil Delight is going to go on the opposite colors. You get what I'm doing? And the Tempting Turquoise will go there. And this will go here. Oh, that is too darn cute. Now I'm going to tie a bow, and one of the little tricks that I use is I make these little rabbit ears like this. Okay, let me get my fingers in here. Once you have your rabbit ears, you're just going to crisscross them and pull it under, and look at that bow. Is that not too darn cute? Then you can make it bigger or smaller depending on the size of the bow that you want. Go ahead and pull that tight. And this is the Daffodil Delight, I want to say it's 3/16 width. I'm going to adhere that with a mini glue dot. And I'm just going to put that right there. And I want to go ahead and trim that off. These are my ribbon cutting scissors. Now the last thing I want to do before I mount this on the card, I want to add a little bit of bling. So I'm going to use my classic rhinestone self-adhesive jewels. And I like them because they have adhesive underneath each one. One of the ways I pick it up, I know it's not going to surprise you, is I use my paper piercer, and every other one is going to be, let me kind of hide that there, a medium size rhinestone. Oh, phew, just enough. And then on the opposite ones, I'm going to put the large rhinestones. Oops. That was a Marley cat hair. Cat hair is free in this house. And let me go ahead and get this last one here. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach it to my Tempting Turquoise. Now I've got all this texture and everything going on here. So what I'm going to do, instead of turning it over and putting my snail and having it bump and not be smooth, I'm going to put it on my Tempting Turquoise, keeping in mind that there's going to be a border all the way around, so you want to make sure that your snail doesn't go from the top to the bottom all the way. And we're going to go ahead and mount that on our cardstock. And then I'm going to mount that on my Tempting Turquoise, but you guessed it, I'm going to use dimensionals. And again, I'm going to use this scrap. So look, I've done a complete card with just some scraps of dimensionals that I too used to throw away, believe it or not. And put that in the middle. And the thing is, nobody can see these, so it's okay. I used to have this little phobia that my dimensionals underneath weren't all neat and uniform. And then I realized that it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and peel this off. We're almost done with our card. And make sure the card opens the right way. And I'm just going to mount that on the top. And voila, there is our birthday card. Now, isn't that adorable? And then remember, this cupcake punch, the cupcake set, it's all in the Occasions mini catalog. And on my blog at www.letstamp.com, I will have all the items and the item numbers listed, so you can go ahead and purchase these if you'd like. Thank you so much for visiting Let's Stamp with Phyllis, and I hope to see you back. Thank you.